Welcome to the first video of the YouTube channel. Just started. I'll hopefully give you some tips and stuff to make your training a little bit better. And the first one is going to be all about shoulders. And basically this is a problem I've got. I've done a lot of shoulder internal rotation, and I developed an injury because of it called shoulder impingement. So internal rotation refers to when the shoulder is twisted in towards the body, and external rotation is the opposite, when it's twisted out from the body. So basically when I trained, I was always doing chest press, I was always doing bicep curls and shoulder press, and I'd never really done anything for the back or the rotator cuffs. So what I want to show you is something called the Apley scratch test. It's a test to see your shoulder mobility. So I'll show you the Apley scratch test on me first, just to show you an example of how bad it can be and how injured you can get from doing only internal rotation exercises. And then I'll explain a little bit about the actual exercises that you can do to balance this out. So first of all, I'll show you, this is the Apley scratch test. And basically, I'll show you side on and then I'll show you from the back. All you want to do is with one arm you want to go over the top, over your back, and with the other arm you will just want to come underneath the back, and you're trying to get your hands as close together as possible. So let me show you on both sides and I'll explain a little more. So as you can see, one side is a lot better than the other side. This is because I have a shoulder impingement on my right shoulder. There's a space in the shoulder, and when your shoulder is normal, the space is nice and big, so you can get lots of range of motion. But when the shoulder is internally rotated, the gap gets smaller, and so when you try to do exercises, it can actually cause impingement in the shoulder. And so what you want to do is to reverse that, is to do a lot more external rotation and basically extend the gap again to get normal full range of motion. So what I was doing, as I say, chest and biceps, they're all attached on the front side of the humerus, the arm bone, the upper arm bone, and so everything is pulling tight towards internal rotation. So a couple exercises are face pulls with external rotations, and if you've got a resistance band you can also just hold it in both hands and do external rotations. Now you don't want to be swinging the arms, you just want to look for that rotation move of the shoulder. There's also a few good stretches that I can show you. If you just grab a towel, if you have a rope or a towel or a resistance band, anything works. So you just get into the same position as the Apley scratch test, and you're just pulling down on the towel. Well, actually you're supposed to pull up with the top hand and not pull down, but that's what happens when you make your first YouTube video. To try and stretch out the shoulder. Another exercise, good exercise, since we've got the yoga mat set up here, is the cross shoulder stretch. So you just put each shoulder down and you push down towards the mat. And now you just hold that for between 10 and 30 seconds, and you can practice that as you get better. You get better shoulder mobility, you can do some of these stretches. So a lot of what we do in life is internal rotation. Basically when you're sat there at a computer, or if you're on your phone all day, like all of that involves crouched over, the shoulders are forward, the arms are internally rotated, and we sit probably for, if you're an office worker, maybe 8 hours a day just sat at the computer, and then when you get on the bus home you sit on your phone or whatever. So we need to apply external rotation into our routine. So things like the face pulls or the resistance bands, or you've even got in the cable machine you sometimes see in the gym, people have the cable set up and they just externally rotate. or they even set up the cable a little bit higher and they do external rotation. It's the same. This kind of external rotation and that, both external rotation, just slightly different ways to do it. When you're doing external rotation up here, I like to have a support underneath the elbow when you're first beginning, and then you're just looking for a rotation, because I feel if you just have a dumbbell in your hands and you try and externally rotate, in the beginning it's difficult to balance, to know what you're actually working, because it feels like you're just lifting up the arm, but what you want to do is just get the only external rotation. So what you want to do is you want to try and add these into your training program and your routine, so that you can balance out some of the things that you're doing in your daily activity. If you can be more aware at work and try and sit up more tall while you're working, then it may help, but you have to think about these things when you go to the gym and when you're training sports and things. So I hope these little tips help you. I wanted to show you my shoulder impingement myself, which is a great example of doing things wrong for so many years. No one ever told me what to do in the gym, so I'm hoping that these little videos will help you not make the same mistakes as me, and hopefully avoid injury in the future.